You guys have got a memo for you guys.
He thinks it takes.
Are we recording? Yes, okay, all right, if everyone would rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, good evening. We have all 5 counselors present, town manager, assistant town manager, town clerk, and our economic developers joining tonight. Thanks for being here with me. Our first order of business is to approve minutes from our last gathering on any for the Board of Assessors minutes, any edits from anybody on those? Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to accept the minutes for the Board of Assessors meeting on 8/8/2023.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next, we have minutes from our regular meeting on 8. Any edits? Anybody? Okay,
Madam Chair, I move we accept the meeting minutes from 8/8/23 as written.
Second.
thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. And up next, we have the treasurer's warrant. Looks like we've got a smaller one to close out 22-23 and a bigger one for 23-24.
Madam Chair, I move we accept treasurer's warrant dated 8/17/2023, the amount of $5,054.72.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, just to note that one is for fiscal year 22-23. Well, is that the last one or do we have more coming?
I know there's one more invoice, but I think I'll just make it on thing so we can have one check on. I think this will be the last one.
Cool. I mean, it's not a problem. We have more first. Any other discussion on this one? All those in favor of signing the treasurer's warrant, say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. And our next one is for fiscal year 23-24. I'll make a motion to sign the treasurer's warrant dated 8/17/23 in the amount of $278,285.25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of signing this treasurer's warrant, say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right, moving on, we're in the report section. We have an update from Salmon Falls Tidal Waters Project. Who's here to do, is that,
Nobody, they just sent it to me,
oh, okay,
so I just typed it out for you, we gave it to you folks, you can see what it says, it's basically that. They raised about 8%, they're a little behind in their timeline, but they still think the program's gonna go forward. They're closing next summer, next fall, if everything, if they get the money. Apparently that's okay with the, sellers, so.
They made great strides to get 80%.
yeah,
That's huge for.
I got one grant I just signed, support letter for a second grant.
That's fantastic. They've done a great job. That's all.
just to confirm, this is the Great Works Land Trust thing, okay.
Yes.
Just,
It's the estuary land, tidal water project along the river.
Yeah.
The Falls River,
yeah.
with all that acreage.
So this is the same project where last year we had it on the ballot to contribute $250,000 from our funds to them, so. Great, anything else on that? Any questions, comments from anybody? Okay, public comment. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak? Please just, state your name and your address.
thing on?
I think so. I don't know.
Anyway, okay.
We can hear you just fine. It's really more for the
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
I don't really need it.
Okay, good. We'll let our technician.
Oh, okay.
Town
So
manager,
my name is George Muller. I live at 120 Portland Street and I've dubbed it the highway. I bought my house here in 96 and I moved here in 04. I was just working out of the country. I've been a registered voter since 83. I'm not sure, sometimes in that. When I moved here, I realized I bought a house on a very busy street, but it was not just busy, it was always speeding, so it's extremely loud. I had a lot of times I went over to see and talk to our old police chief. I don't have enough people, I'm not gonna stop anybody until they're doing at least 35. And this kept on going over the years. This is now 19 years ago. And when COVID came, there was less traffic, and there was even more speeding. And the speeding has continued, but the traffic volume is back up. It's around 12,000 at the last, I don't know when they did the last assessment, but probably hasn't come up. But most of the traffic is between, let's say, 7 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the evening. And going out of town is always excessively fast. And I'm a musician and I practice upstairs. Sound goes up at a certain angle, that's why, like, your coliseums and everything have a certain angle. So upstairs is always extremely loud. It's always a bother. Downstairs isn't bad, double windows and everything else and the sound going up. But upstairs is really bad. And this time of the year, the windows are open. And when the traffic starts in the morning, it's just annoying. And then you get trucks coming in, hit the air brakes, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like, wow, my house is falling apart. It's I don't know what can be done. I found out we are now short on police anyway, but it's a problem and it's really getting me, because I really can't go upstairs and just do what I have to do and concentrate. So I'm asking, it's also dangerous because making a turn is like, you look to the left and I'm expecting people to go 25, maybe a little bit more. And all of a sudden he's there when I'm pulling out. So, and I don't know what to do. I haven't come here because a couple of years ago, they changed it from Monday to Tuesday because of one gentleman. But I played with the Reading Symphony in Reading, Mass, so they rehearsed Tuesday, so I couldn't leave them. And I had my Mondays open to come to your council meetings, which I did very often. And I haven't come very often because of the rehearsals. But I just want to put this out to the council to see what they can do. I know that the town manager is on my side and is going to do whatever is possible. But I want the town council to know, and please do something. It doesn't only affect me, it affects everybody on the street. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple comments. Sounds like you've already been filled in on the situation with our police department. We are short staffed, so traffic stops, I think are unfortunately not our highest priority for the police department at the moment. It's unfortunate. But then also, I don't know if you're aware, we are fully engaged in a traffic effort to address the downtown. We had an update completed recently by Sepago Technics, which is a traffic engineering firm, to do studies and kind of come up with some recommendations for what we should do downtown to help mitigate maybe not mitigate, but control and maybe slow down the traffic a little bit. That's actually an agenda item we have in a moment, where we're going to be talking about public hearings and stuff. So I think I'm very confident in saying that the council and the staff were fully invested in doing something about the traffic problems downtown. I don't believe that it's going to get rid of the vehicles, but I think would potentially slow them down. And so we're fully vested in that. We haven't kind of checked all the boxes yet, but
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that town council knows, and I understand, I just talked to the town manager about the deficiency at the police department. So, but you know, if you could, whenever you can do whatever is possible, and I'm talking about where I live, but 3/10 of a mile outside, I'm basically still living in downtown. And I'm really surprised that people haven't been run over yet, the way people drive through the center of town. So if you could do something to make people aware, please just comment, you know, you don't lose a lot if you drive a little bit slower.
Yeah,
you
we're
know.
working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any public comment? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, we'll move on, to unfinished business. So at our last meeting, we had a request, from the residents on Bittersweet Lane to close the road on September 9th for a block party. And in our discussion at the council, we, decided that we wanted to get, kind of more of a consensus, I guess, from the neighborhood, and it looks like we got that. I don't know how many names there are here, 15-ish maybe, of folks who basically were signing, in support, I guess, of closing Bittersweet Lane on September 9th. So, I think now we just need a motion to move forward with that, right? Okay, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to, approve the closal of Bittersweet Lane on September 9th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a neighborhood block party.
Second.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Norwood, for going out and getting the signatures, because I was the counselor that brought up the issue of, you know, wanting a consensus, because, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of houses on that street, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was agreeing with it. And, I personally prefer to not be a town that overregulates our citizens with rules, restrictions, and ordinances. But I think for the future, after we do vote on this, for the future, I would really like to see that block party request, we should consider creating a permit for such events, as a permit is valuable for the residents and the town to collaborate on use of shared space. A properly written permit, which in my research is more common than not for our town. And it ensures that an event will not interfere with traffic flow or emergency services. It ensures safety measures are taken and accountability for liability is not burdened to the town should an accident occur. I know we have set precedents for these events with street closures for parades in towns and trick or treat and Aggies. But I don't think it would hurt to have a written ordinance or permit in place, at the very least to fall back on when a vote is in order for circumstances such as this, just in the future.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay, just turn your mic up.
I wholeheartedly agree with Councilor Costello. Unlike Aggies and parades, to me, I look at this as a private gathering. I don't live down there, and I don't feel that I could show up down there. So I find that this is quite different from trick or treating and things like that. But thank you very much for the research and the definition and whatnot. I 100% agree with you that something should be done moving forward. But yeah, thanks.
Tim, in your prior experience in other towns, was this did you have any experience with permitting for situations like this?
Yeah, Rangeley, which we had festivals every weekend from May through October. They had an event application which provided liability. Anytime you did anything on town-owned property or function, you had to fill out the application 30 days in advance, had to go to the council had to give approval, showed like, police had to sign off, I had to sign off, public safety, who was gonna take care of the trash, they had to agree to return the land back to its regular, condition if they used it, if they damaged it, and provide liability insurance. When I went to Harrison, they didn't have one. The year that I had got there, they had Harrison Old Home Days, and one of those circus groups would come and, run the cats and stuff. And the circus people got into a fight, and one stabbed the other, didn't kill him, just stabbed him. And it was a huge controversy because he was stabbed in Town Park. There was no idea about liability. Turned out that there was alcohol being used. They were intoxicated, got in a push fight, and I took a knife out and and that was that. After that, we passed an event permit and stopped doing Harrison Old Home Days with push fight. Because they wouldn't provide liability insurance. So, I would highly recommend an event form. If nothing else, it gives legal protection, liability for the town council and town to authorize people to do road closures, which is what's required by state statute. And it also, I think, reduces our liability here as well as accountability for people cleaning up their messes afterwards. Hasn't been a problem, but remember, without an event permit, any group can come march down your street. Right? You don't, any group. At least an event permit, you can probably control some of that, though you can't control First Amendment rights. They have to tell you what they're gonna do, why they're doing it, what the parade route is gonna be, who's gonna clean it up afterwards. So I would recommend that we move to that direction. And I'll be glad to draft something, get it to the council as a draft, application, and then we can look at whether we wanna do by ordinance or by executive order or by resolve or whichever you want to do, and I'll check with Phil on that.
Okay. Anyone have any issues with Tim moving forward with that?
Great idea.
Yeah. All right, should we do a motion for that?
Nope.
All right, so for the Bittersweet Lane thing, we're good. We just took action on that, so for anyone from the Bittersweet Lane group, we're okay, but. Oh, yeah, thank you. We will be good, I think, in a moment. But then moving forward, we'll look at a permanent process going forward. So, all right, all those in favor of closing Bittersweet Lane on September 9th, say aye.
Aye.
John. Aye. Joe.
Aye.
Jessica. Aye. Melissa.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. You threw off my rhythm.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that wraps up unfinished business, new business. Number one, the downtown facade grant program. I'm excited to hear about that. I'm assuming that's like you guys have this on. Maybe not. Is there a green light? Around the button.
Go up to the podium. Please,
Please.
thank you.
Good evening, Council Chair. Council Chair Cook, Vice Chairman Minahan, and members of the Town Council. I'm happy to be here this evening to talk about one of the first really great initiatives that can come out of the downtown, actually not the downtown, the transit-oriented TIP district. The Downtown Facade Grant Program has been used successfully in many communities in Maine, has helped to support economic development, downtown and community revitalization efforts. It provides matching funds for businesses that are interested in making improvements. Here's the neat thing about it. It's a 50-50, one-to-one match with a maximum of about $10,000. So if there's a $20,000 program, you can actually get $10,000 out of the project and do an awning, signage, painting, facade, doors, windows, storefront restorations, repointing, hardscapes, a whole host of qualified events. Here's the neat thing, and communities that happen, like it catalyzed really some great initiatives, like all of a sudden one business looks improved and then the next business gets improved. And even if it's a $5,000 project, you get $2,500. And so you basically take local dollars instead of sending it to the state of Maine or paying higher taxes in county taxes or what have you, you're actually reinvesting 100% of the money back into the community and you get double for your value. So this initiative has a grading scoring mechanism, which the impact to the community would be about 60%. Sustainability would be about 30%, and the community contributions about 10%. We're looking at formulating a committee that actually has members that would consist of 2 business owners, 1 town council member, so whoever would love to serve on this would be welcome to take names. The economic development director, which is myself, and the assistant town manager. And so the applications would come in on a rolling basis. We start posting this as soon as hopefully you will approve it. But as soon as approved, we would advertise the program and put that out there. And the downtown, we call it the downtown opportunity area. So if you look at the map on your handout, it goes all the way to Outlook and comes all the way to the border of New Hampshire and down as far as we can get. So it's not just strictly the, proverbial from the Neely House to like right the outside, by the post office. It's just the economic development opportunity area considered as the downtown. Here's the neat thing. It's been built into the transit TIF district, and depending on how much money that generates, we can actually go higher than the 30,000 that we're requesting this evening. And then when the downtown district gets created, we can put more money in that as well. So, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but this program has been extremely successful in other communities and just revitalizing and energizing the downtown.
Question, so the funds, the matched funds would be pulled from our TIF fund?
That is correct.
Cool.
So if somebody even has like a $4,000 painting project, they can apply, and we would give them 2,000. They have to invest 2,000 in their facade completely gets done. But if they have a $10,000 renovation project, that includes windows, awnings, signage, what have you, it has to be the exterior. Nothing in the interior can be funded. Nothing can be backfilled. Like in other words, we can't backfill. So it has to be a project that's approved by us, and then they apply for the funds. So they can't come in and say, I just spent 20,000 doing this. Can I have money? So it has to be a project that we approve going forward.
And it looks like we approve it, then they complete it with their own funds, and then they get reimbursed.
That is correct. So we have to make sure the project's completed. And then we also have built-in mechanism that the code enforcement officer actually evaluates the project and provides input to make sure and ensure that whatever project is approved is actually a qualified project. So.
So it looks like we're looking to start the downtown facade program with an allocation of $30,000 for this fiscal year, and that's essentially the motion that we need to make this evening. Right. Any questions?
I just have a question about the downtown.
Right.
Just have a question about the downtown opportunity area and how it feels like it mismatches the transit oriented TIF. So is there any implication by?
That's an awesome question. So what it matches actually is the TIF district that we will be creating when we create the downtown TIF district. We're waiting for the downtown revitalization plan. When that's in place, then we will, so it's an expanded opportunity area that includes both the transit TIF district and also what is potentially to come with the downtown TIF district, which will go that entire north, south, east, west. I can't remember which one, but anyway, an expanded area. Great question.
Any other questions?
And just for my clarification, the transit tip cannot be used for this money, correct? It's only that downtown, so there's no double dipping from where the money will come from.
So the way that both the amended Pumpkin Town and this transit oriented TIF district, both of them can actually cover the downtown opportunity area. And then we create the downtown district, the same thing. So both of them, all of them can funnel into that program. So potentially we could, if the council so deems, if the money comes into these TIF districts, you could say, let's invest 100,000, right? And so you can get 10 projects in a year. It's entirely up to the council's purview.
There was one, I didn't understand, and that just for my clarification, one of the bullets for qualifying projects was removal of modernization efforts. What exactly does that?
What does that mean? So some people have not appropriately made some modifications to historic buildings that weren't appropriate. So if somebody inherits a building, purchases a building with a business that's on the historic register, National Historic Register, they may need to be removing some of that. So then we want to encourage that, right? And just to make it back into the historic component of what that building should be like. That's what that means. Probably should clarify that. I would be happy to make some verbiage to clarify that more, but good question.
So Denise, I just need you to, I need it from the horse's mouth. I've had a couple of residents.
Mhm,
They were had some misconceptions or misperceptions about this program. First of all, this is not a state program.
correct,
Okay, that's the one thing.
100% local,
Okay, thank you, because I would say yes, and they're like. "Oh,
no
so-"
state or
Okay.
federal or any other hoops and hurdles.
Right, and secondly, one of the reason that we created this is because with developing a TIF program, there are certain criteria of we need to give back to the community.
Absolutely,
And by developing this grant funding program, where it's not taxpayers' dollars, it's profits from the TIF, and it's the business owners that are doing the grant matching, correct?
that is correct.
Okay, because there was some concern, again, with it, that people thinking it was a state program that would be taking the taxpayers' money, asking for a grant that would then go to business owners. So I just, like I said, from the horse's mouth, I just wanted you to say, yes, Melissa, you have been correcting them properly, so.
Absolutely. So I think that one thing you might want to add for your constituents or any constituent here, in South Berwick for that matter, is that, you know, the funds that are generated in the TIF districts, we are actually keeping 100% of the money. Otherwise, you'd be losing 70%. So we're keeping 100% and we're giving 100% of that, 50% of it, we're giving it back directly to a business who wants to invest in staying here. So, and there are a lot of requirements. If you look at the application, you have to be financially sound. You know, we're not going to give money to somebody that's going to walk out the door in 48 hours. That said, even if they did, their renovations are to the exterior. So the next person that leases it or purchases the building has the benefit. And so it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that.
And then just one final question, where we do, as of right now, only have a $30,000 allocation. How, say 10 business owners, and I know there'll be an application process and a committee that will, if we have 10 business owners that come in and they're all looking at, you know, $20,000 to $50,000 projects, like how do we, is there gonna be a deadline for applications? Like-
So the way that we wrote the applications, rolling applications, first come, first serve, we run out. So then fast forward after Jen completes the audit and Tim and Jen take a look at the finances and whatever happens to the TIF district, should the TIF district have a lot more money, we may come back to you folks and say, can we allocate another X amount of dollars? And that's to your discretion, right? You have the full authority to accept more funding. And so it depends on how we hit it out of the park, right? I've seen programs that were slow coming because everybody says they want the money, but can they produce the match, right? And others are like, the money disappears in 48 hours, you know, because there's just so many applications. So it all depends who's ready to pounce.
Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Do we authorize the establishment of the downtown facade grant program to allocate $30,000 for fiscal year 2024? Be funded by the Transit TIF District. Second to that, I'd like to volunteer to be the council representative on that committee when one is formed.
Thank you.
Second. Any other discussion? No?
I just wanted to note that it's the application may be the property owner or the tenant, so I'm feeling as though there's no double dipping on the same property.
That is correct.
Hello, so one of the things that struck me was quite frankly, how large the district was,
Mhm.
and how many residential properties are involved in that. How does this impact if I were living on, Dawson Street? That's the first one that I see. I'm living on Dawson Street and I'm doing, whatever, cupcakes, or I'm detailing cars and I'm doing my home-based business. How does that impact businesses that are home-based businesses with this? I saw that it excludes residential.
Mhm.
Is there a carve out or something that we need to look at to address? that, so we are aware of what the money's. I think majority of people look, I do, and I'm saying, oh, Main Street and businesses there, but there are a lot of other businesses in that district. You see the conundrum that I'm having?
I understand. And so in my past experience in other communities, it had to be a commercial business venture that already had an existing signage, existing clientele. I mean, it's not like somebody says, I opened up a cupcake shop. I don't have anything done and there's no signage, there's, what have you. So it would be more for the people on the block, some professional office buildings, lawyers' offices, people that wanted awnings and just really making things better. It's not for your average. And then again, the scoring mechanism, so if we take rolling applications and say we could have a 2-week period, we take rolling applications and we evaluate it as a committee, right? We meet in 2 weeks and this is what we have for applications. There's a scoring mechanism, right? So somebody like that probably wouldn't score as high as somebody that's opening up I don't want to pick business, I probably shouldn't on the microphone, but pick a business, existing business that wants to redo their signage and just to do an awning and just make things more vibrant for the downtown. That's a whole different ballgame. So we're not here to help the fledgling start-up business. We're here to help existing businesses that do not have the funds to just make some really exciting things happen with their facade.
So we would capture that.
Correct.
The application.
Correct. Right, and that's part of the committee's work, which is why we want a committee of business owners, a council member, staff, and people that can actually assess the application on its merit. But great question. You're welcome.
Let us take care of the motion. Any other discussion with council? All right, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor, say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much, Denise. Cliff?
Clary 10 Spillingstill. I think this is an excellent program you're gonna put through. And I hope it'll be word of mouth that some of the major businesses that their facades are falling down would get the word, and that would help them because I can see those as a very major expense. Thank you.
Thanks. Before we move on to our next order of business, is there anyone on Zoom that wants to comment on this item? Okay, all right, we want to do business number 2, renewal of liquor license and special amusement permit for the Leagues at Outlook.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the liquor license and special amusement permit for the Links at Outlook Golf Club. They're a business in good standing in the community. There's been no issues reported from the chief of police.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next order of business, application for the planning board. I believe our process to go forward is that we would schedule an interview at an upcoming meeting and executive session with the candidate Betsy Ware. So if we could look to schedule a 15-minute interview before next meeting, if that works. For everybody. And I don't think we need a motion for that. Okay, so that will be to the candidate's availability. If you can do the next meeting, that'd be great. If not, we don't. All right. Then up next, we have a resignation from the Board of Assessment Review. From Nora Irvine. I don't remember how long she's been on the board, but with her involvement with the Suburb Reporter, there's a little bit of a conflict, so she submitted a resignation, so. I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the resignation of Nora Irvine from the Board of Assessment Review.
Second.
Motion and second, any other discussion? Before I take a vote, we'll just want to thank Nora for her service on the Board of Assessment Review. I know it's not the most active or frequently meeting board, but we appreciate your service. All right, we have a motion on the table. We'll go ahead and vote. John,
Yes, aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Jessica. Aye. Melissa.
I,
Aye, motion passes 5-0. All right, and new business number 5, set a public hearing date for input on the recommended downtown traffic changes.
Madam Chair, the next part of the process for us going forward to the traffic. For the traffic study. Is that we would have to do a conceptual plan, there's money out there for conceptual, there's grant money, Denise found some grant money for. A conceptual plan design, which could cost anywhere from 50 to 100,000. But to get there, we need to, the next step in the process is you need to have a public hearing to decide when to get input from the public. Then you'll need to make a formal decision what plan you want to put forward. And then we can take that and I can have Denise apply for the grant money to start a conceptual plan, which will take Denise how long, 6 to 8 months, they said? Roughly 6 to 8 months. So with that far out, so that would run and coincide with the downtown revitalization plan. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get all these points together so they all come together so we can all make it work. So I would recommend something in September. It's just basically a public input meeting to say, this is the report we've got, this is the concept, what we think, and we're just looking how we're gonna work. We know by the comprehensive plan survey that one of the number one issues was to fix the traffic problems in town. So, I mean, that's part of it, but you still, for the process, I gotta show that we held a public hearing and show the chair motion vote.
Okay. I would suggest that we try to do like late September and let people get over the hump of school starting. Anyone have any thoughts? Looking at the
That's a
calendar.
great idea, they're gonna be very busy. in the upcoming
Yeah. So,
few weeks.
so Tuesday the 5th, we have a workshop for town hall, then we meet regularly on the 12th and the 26th. What day did we do, what day of the week did we do this last time? I wasn't here for that one. Was it a Wednesday?
Yeah, it was either a Wednesday or Thursday, because right before the holiday, it was a Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. Did we feel like that was like, seemed like a better day?
We had a very good turnout.
Yeah, for turnout, okay. What if we did Wednesday, September 20th? You think that's far enough past school starting?
I'm away that week.
You're away, right? Okay. You can listen and report, okay. All right, I will go ahead and make a motion to set a public hearing for input on the recommended downtown traffic changes for Wednesday, September 20th at 6 p.m. here at Town Hall on the 3rd floor.
Second.
The motion and a second, any discussion? Yeah.
Just ensuring that it's well publicized. Wherever we have lost our support call.
Yeah, we want to do Facebook, website.
Transfers use the sign.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh. Planning board meeting on Wednesdays. First and third. Maybe we do the 19th instead, Tuesday night. That work for you guys to do Tuesday instead? Okay, can we revise the motion to be all of the same things except for September 19th instead of the 20th? Okay,
Madam Chair, I was just wondering, will there be a representative here for, so it will just be run by the council and?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just you talking about what you feel the recommendation changes are and what you think should happen and have a input. Essentially, that's it. And we technically, so, because we already had the first public hearing, that had the representatives there, right?
Yeah.
So they've had that. So now, for us to get these grants and apply for these conceptual plans, you just need to have a public hearing, that you tell them, and the thinking of this, give us your input, whether they agree or they don't agree. We can then a motion after that, everybody in meetings to say, this is what we vote to go forward to. And again, that's not the finalized thing, that's just getting into a conceptual plan. Right now, all we have is basically a theory on paper, right? And we have some drawings, they were technically some great draft drawings for us. Then, but it has to be sent to engineering, to be engineered, they'll have to come out and measure that, includes environmental, includes land lot lines, includes drainage, you know, all that stuff will be looked at, traffic flow, and they'll put all the conceptual designs together. Then the public, once all that's done, that's a draft, there'd be a draft document, draft conceptual design, just like a DI. You would bring that design forward and first, again, draft it, go to the state, make sure that they are okay with it, and if they're okay with it, the same process comes back. And then before you accept it as a document, you send it to a public hearing, for the public to put on your draft document, and then approve that document. That's what you would send forward to put out the bid for an RFP to do traffic, fix the traffic in downtown. It's a methodical process.
Yeah.
Just, you gotta cross all your T's, you know, like at the, you gotta cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and do it right, so.
Is there, just because I'm thinking, like, I'm in my mind, I'm sort of comparing this a little bit to 91 and 236, where all of that work was being completed by the state. Would we expect, I mean, if we take away the funding aspect of it, but like the work to actually be completed, wouldn't the state want or need to participate in the actual work? Because it's a state road?
Probably not, I mean, it depends on, you know, they would probably bid the project out, but like they bid this out. So that's all private contractors, they
Okay.
bid all that out.
Got it,
They don't have the staff to do major road construction, so they would, what the part the state would do is help us with funding, help us write the RFP, help us get the award. Then because it is a state road, the award, the state would be in on, the state engineers helping us with the award of the RFP, making sure everything's met. And so forth and so on, but then the project would have a project engineer and a project lead to oversee the project. So like they're 91 and 236 Turner Consulting Engineering Company out of New Hampshire, they're the lead on the project. They're running the project right now, so they would do the same thing in the RFP. We'd hire, you know, a company, and that company would have an engineering company who would say, okay, this is how we're gonna do it.
got it. Thank you, that's helpful.
Just for my clarification, Tim, so when I'm thinking of the traffic and what Camoin had given us, there were multiple options that they provided.
Did you mean to say what that next part?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So when they provided that, there's multiple options for the traffic. This public, when you're saying it's conceptual draft, or is that what we're?
So this plan, or this public hearing, is just to simply say, okay, we as a council are looking at correcting, you know, we're looking, we get the report straight with that.
Yeah.
There's no hidden secrets here, it's either 2 streetlights or 2 roundabouts, and we've already figured out that you talked about roundabouts probably aren't feasible, so it looks like the potential would be 2 streetlights. Like, that's probably what the discussion will be centered around, you just wanna get your feedback. What do people in town, the question would simply be, whatever you put forth, what do you feel about, you know, solving the traffic problem with South Road? 2 streetlights gonna do it, 10 streetlights gonna do it, you know, whatever you wanna, this is what they're proposing, is either 2 streetlights or 2 roundabouts.
Right, so,
And just get people's input on that. Then from there, you need to make a decision as council, municipal officials, what do you wanna put forward? You vote on that by motion vote. We take that, and then Denise can take that and start sending that out, grant applications to get funding to develop a conceptual design process. So then we put that conceptual design out to RFP, that we basically hire an engineering company, we pay them 50 or 100, whatever it is. And they would design our streetlights, traffic flow, all that stuff. They would include all the environmental, water flows, you know, lot lines, all that stuff, traffic lights, and parking, and all that stuff would be included. They would bring that conceptual report draft back, you would look at that, same thing, hold public hearings, and make any changes necessary, and at some point adopt that from a draft report to an adopted report. Then that's what we would apply to the state funding for, to push out to get the project paid. It's, it doesn't happen overnight, it's not that's why everybody's like all concerned about, it's gonna take, you know, like DOT said, 3 to 5 years to get this done. It's a lengthy, long, on fight.
So the sense of the public hearing question would be. Are you in favor of doing some, moving forward with traffic, fixing traffic or?
And accepting one of two recommendations.
Yeah, no, we can't put that out there like that, because if we go into a public hearing with, you wanna fix traffic, we're gonna spend 4 hours on Norton Street and why it doesn't work. We need to do what Mallory did for the town hall,
Right.
very specific. You want 2 traffic lights here. Basically,
That,
you want 2 traffic lights here, what's your feeling on putting 2 traffic lights downtown? Will it ruin the downtown, will it be okay? I think that's
Yeah, I agree, I think.
black and white, because
Really.
we know there's traffic on every side street. I know when this is backed up, because Super Sand turns into a highway, so that's gonna be dealt with after the traffic lights down the road.
so you'd want a simpler way to do it, you offer two options by Sebago Tech, the engineering firm. So you pick one of the options and say, you know, are you in favor of option one, option two, easy way to say it. You know, or option three, I guess, do nothing. So, and that's, you're absolutely right, you just gotta phase it as, you know, what do you wanna do with it? And then after you get the public's input, again, you may not agree with it, you may not, public, you're the municipal official. We're not gonna make everybody happy, we're gonna do what's best for the town, then that begins the process, then you take a motion vote and we move the process.
Okay, no, that was sort of where I was getting at, is that there are multiple options, and, if we have this public hearing, I wanna make sure the public feels like they got an opportunity to talk about the multiple options, even though I think one is more feasible than the others, but that's what I'm most concerned about.
We can't do that, that's what we just discussed.
No, it's like what he just said, like if we say you make 3 options, then you're talking about the 3 options. You see what I mean?
I do.
Alright,
I'll go along.
we have a motion on the table to schedule a public hearing, I think. The kind of preparation leading up to the public hearing, I think will be much like with the town hall stuff where, you know, I think it would make sense to do like a little bit of presentation, look around everybody and stuff ahead of time, sign in if you want to speak, run it really similarly. We can kind of work through some of the details and stuff, but I think we can go ahead and at least vote to schedule it for September 19th at 6 p.m. Because we have that motion on the table. John?
Aye.
Jeff?
Alright,
Jessica? Aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. So we'll work on getting the word out about that. And also, I think just for when we do post it to, like, kind of announce the public hearing on Facebook and on the website, and stuff, if we could include a link to the actual report for people to reference, I think that would be helpful. Right, anything else on the traffic stuff? Okay, alright, that takes care of all of our business, town manager's report.
Okay. The highway department, they've been cleaning up the roadside brush, dipping and shouldering. Paving when the weather permits, we're having a hard time to get paving and get that done with the weather and the availability of paving. Demers, Railroad Front, Park Street, as well as Black Swan Drive, and we're gonna look at some of where you live, wherever that is.
Boyd's Corner
Boyd's
Road.
Corner,
Yeah.
we're gonna take the corners out of Boyd's Corner. No, just kidding, I don't. We're gonna look at some of that. Police department had 3 arrests, 5 accidents, 58 traffic stops. And if you remember, to George's issue earlier, when we were full staff, we were doing basically 120 to 150 traffic stops every 2 weeks. They're down to 58 right now, so they're still doing what they can, but the detector's car that we bought, moved the engine, so it's gonna get a new engine. It's warranted by Ford. We got a service for 1 to 2 months. Thank God we got the new cruiser. The police chief and the police lieutenant have successfully passed their 3-tier FBI lead certification, which now means they are certified nationally by the FBI Academy as professional leaders. Congratulations to them. That was a 3-week long program and over different times, and they did a great job doing that. That's great certification for the town. Many officers volunteer to take part with the Make-A-Wish Foundation on 8/30 for a 10-year-old is gonna do a presentation. Fire department has had 17 calls in the last 2 weeks, year to date is 344, and that's up from last year. They hosted a maniac training at the Red Barn last weekend. They trained on search and rescue and firefighter rescue despite the humid weather and the hot weather. Firefighters of all levels, including the assistant deputy chief, participated in the 16 hours of classroom hands-on training. So congratulations to them. That's great that they did that. Latitude and Forestry 5 participated in Lantern Fest in Spring Hill last Wednesday. Despite the rain, the kids in the crowd while crawling all over the trucks, and got to see them leave for 2 calls during the event. Equipment for the new fire engine continues to trickle in. We received hose, nozzles, appliances for the new truck, which won't be here for till spring of 25 now. I hope to get it before I retire. That's all I can tell you. Code enforcement issued 3 building permits, 1 plumbing permit, 1 new road, Cardinal Way. And they're working on converting old addresses to correct 901 addresses. So what they're finding, a lot of roads in town where the addresses don't make sense, you go down the road, there'll be number 32, then the next house is number 59, and the next house is 138. So E911 is pushing out statewide for everybody locally 911 officers to correct addresses as we find them, as we see them. Planning, the planning board LD 2003 passed the planning board and is being sent to the town council for your review and your work. And I will turn it over to the assistant town manager.
At the library, Lorena hosted a Make Your Own Ice Cream function on August 15th. There were 29 children and adults that attended. For the recreation department, 240 kids are registered for the fall soccer program, which is about average. It's great attendance. They had a new fall enrichment program that will be running at Central School. We are collaborating with Staffology in Dover, and they will be running a 4-week after-school session right at Central School. The seniors had a lunch and learn about dementia that was held on the 16th, and that was well attended, and the presenters were very engaging. On the 17th, they traveled to Interlake Summer Theater in Meredith, New Hampshire for the musical Get On Your Feet. Assessing, working on getting valuation reports uploaded to the webpage via Documents on Demand, and she has finished that. They will be labeled as the account number and map and lot number to account number reference between the two, so you can look it up either way. This will help with transparency and equity, and assist the property owner with determining whether the data is reasonably accurate. Verna also finished a before and after reference of the update value for the public that is outside her office. It contains costing tables for before and after. It has charts in there and other information in handouts that people may find interesting and helpful. The town clerk has issued almost 1,600 transfer stickers. She has started the election for November. Set up basic design for the ballots and arranged for the tabulator programming. Issued 3 sets of nomination papers for the council, 2 sets for the school board. They are due back on September 7th. And she will be ordering the ballots on the transfer station. The stickers are working. It was a good and steady week for them, and they have received a new supply of blue backs. Economic Development is working on the application for library laptops. There is one foundation that the library does qualify for. The CAPS program, we can utilize downtown traffic improvement conceptual plan, which Ken touched on this earlier. And that cycle of funding will begin in January. And if we can utilize those funds, it will cover 90 to 95% of the cost of that for us. The comprehensive plan, the inventory of these should be completed mid-September, and they will begin the final stages. The goal is to have it completed by the end of January to be filed with the state. The downtown revitalization plan RFP has gone out. The deadline is early September. The downtown revitalization plan is necessary in order to create a downtown TIF district and in order to qualify for any funding. Finance, HR, and safety. Tim and I have started counting how many meetings we're attending. Last week, I had 32. Tax bills have gone out, and we are receiving a lot of calls, as you can imagine. And I have been doing a lot of preparation for the audit and finalizing last year's numbers as well. And I have another meeting with FEMA this week, me and Jay, this Thursday to follow up on the Christmas storm damage, where we are, how much is left. We're getting there. Our deadline is September 22nd. So there's vendors out there working. We are expecting a reimbursement of approximately $100,000.
Under admin, the website, Google Analytics. Go ahead, you guys, put it on the last one. Keep going.
The website analytics that, Dawn is tracking for us for the town hall project had 43 views and 27 different users. Tim had 41 meetings.
And appointments.
And appointments, 5 meetings via the phone with the attorney. Met with economic developer to get updates on the market analysis. Met with Heather on the new tax bills. Stabilization tax was added. There's a section on the tax bill for people who have the stabilized amount. We have a little handout just to show you. It shows them what their taxes would have been, and then also what the stabilized amount is and what is due for this year. We fixed the air handling system here in third floor. We have now learned that we want to turn that off when it's warmer outside than it is inside. So, learning curve again, but it is working and it will be great for a lot of different events. The ice machine at the community center is now fixed. Tim met with Jay and I and a citizen on Park Street, and we did a site visit and location to look at, he had some flooding in the front yard. Tim and I met with Firefly Media to produce a video of the town hall. We are just waiting on it to open up. Yes, he came in, and he's been doing this for many years, and what he'll do is he'll put a camera in the middle of each room, and it will do a 360, so you'll be able to move it all around, see the ceiling, see the floor, see anything you want, and then you pick to move forward through that door, from the kitchen, so it's self-motivated throughout, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put little headings and little circles so people notice, stains on the ceiling, or, point out that the windows need to be replaced, the elevator needs to be replaced. We're just gonna point out everything, and as you're walking through the building, you're self-guiding yourself through the building. And then also, he's gonna do a drone, so that we see the roof, we see all the edging on top around the building. Anything that's close to the ground, he can take some still pictures of, and we're gonna label those with all the deficiencies that we've learned from the Port City courts, and get it out there for the public to see, so they can take their own little tour, when they have time.
That's great, thank you.
Tim has met with 2 citizens on the property stabilization program. And we are gonna do a photo wall in the lobby. We're gonna have counselors, we're gonna have, Tim and I, and we're gonna have all the department heads and get their names out there, kind of like the reporters are doing. So that when they know they're coming out to see Tim or me or Barbara, they'll know who to expect, and who they're looking for.
So when you walk in the lobby on that wall on the right, then welcome to South Berwick, and your happy smiling faces.
We'll use my yearbook photo.
Yeah. We'll be doing that, and, I thought it would be nice touch to welcome people, be friendly, and so people can see, all the department heads, we're gonna put on the bottom serving sense, so that they at least see it, will be the council. And so when people come in, they just have an idea of who faces they're looking for, one step. So the last time I reported, I want to give you a brief update and an overview of the financial status of the town of South Berwick. I came here 20 months ago, and part of that was you folks had told me that we wanted to talk about developing the downtown, making sure the town's financially stable, trying to keep the taxes as low as possible, take care of the employees, and get things fixed that need to be fixed. Before I go forward with that, I want to tell you that there's a term in town management operations that we use quite often, a lot of managers do, it's called deferred maintenance. So what they teach us is if you defer the maintenance of a building or a piece of equipment until the time you retire, you can put that money in the bank and you go to the council and say, see, look what I did. And it looks like I saved you a lot of money, but without telling you that this stuff needs repaired. And you leave it for the next guy. And that's a common practice It's not a good practice, but a lot of managers pop out that. So when I came here, I want to give you some ideas of some of the things that had to be fixed, that I have spent money that did need to be replaced. First off, the safety issues, if you remember all those, we had to go through all the safety trainings, replace all the safety policies. We replaced the food pantry roof, the community center roof had to get repaired. The AC units at the community center have been getting repaired. The heat at the library had to get repaired. Replaced the rotting out buildings at the powerhouse and ball field have been repaired. The boilers and the oil tanks downstairs, along with the chimney. Painted the transfer station building and upgraded security cameras there. Installed new security cameras at the highway department, updated the town's website and added the Facebook page. New ergonomic desk for all staff to make it more comfortable for them. We ordered the new fire truck roadside, bought a new roadside mower. A new sidewalk snow blower machine, 2 new police cars, 3 new highway vehicles. All the town land is mowed by town staff now and not contracted out. We purchased 2 new mowers to do that. We filled all the open key positions with good staff. We have more staff on now that cost more money, full-time code enforcement, planner, economic developer, and a highway mechanic. We completed the traffic report, we completed the market analysis. The economic developer Denise created a new transit TIF district and updated the Pumpkin Town TIF district. And I'm sure there's a lot more in there, but I can't remember it all in 20 months, but we've done enough. So what I want to tell you is this, that the finance director has closed out the books for 23 budget. And based on what she's closed out, these are preliminary numbers, I don't have them exactly here tonight. But I will tell you that we'll be putting, our Jen's idea on, investments paid off greatly. The budget came in, municipal expense budget came in under at least 4% for different various reasons. One of the main ones was we didn't have a full staff for the police department, so because of that, we saved money in wages, unfortunately, which also gave us a cost savings in health benefits and retirement. Not a good thing, but it did happen. Our revenues, we projected good, and the revenues came in above. Again, the investments by Jen. And then the whole team, leadership team, as well as the staff team, how many meetings you sat through, department head meetings, I say, hold the line on the budget, hold the line on the budget. They did, and they still got everything accomplished. The lawns got mowed, the buildings got taken care of, the equipment's gotten repaired, and they still held the line. Because of all that, we're gonna put a decent amount of money back into the undesignated surplus after the audit. I'm not sure of that exact numbers, but I can tell you this. Tonight, 20 months after I came here, that I'm pleased to tell the council, because of the teamwork by my staff, the economic developer with the TIF, everything we talked about when I was hired, we listened to and agreed to, and we went there. When budget time came, and we talked about the train inclusion, remember I told you we're gonna hit 3 things, trains are gonna come, inflation, the budget, and the taxes. Well, that did happen, but because of our investment strategy, because of our spending control, because of the TIF and the economic development and the great work that the finance director has done, the economic developer, and the rest of my department heads, I can tell you, tonight, as we close out the 23 books, thank you to all our hard work with Jen. The town of South Berwick is the best financial place it's ever been in its total history, ever. Now, that is something huge for a community in these time and days to be able to say, we came out of this successful. So I don't have the exact numbers, but the TIF money's up and the undesignated surplus, even taking more out of the undesignated surplus, and paying the 250,000, we'll still have extra for it. South Berwick is very financially healthy, probably one of the most financially healthy towns in York County. And that's my county manager report. Any questions?
So we're in the best financial shape we've been in, and we're also getting tons of stuff done.
Correct. So we're not doing a deferred program. The point is, if you manage it right and you spend it right, then we can do the investments right, we can do the management right, we can accomplish the task, we can get the TIF districts, we can do it all, and we do it as a team. Remember that team? That team is so critically important. I talked about when I came in. It's town council, the employees, the administration, the members of the public. We're all a team. Tonight, the whole team, all 8,000 members of our team and us, we won. We're all successful. We have a great financial situation here. Everything's stable and all those projects have been done. So I just want to thank my team. I want to thank Denise personally, Jen personally, they're my administration team. All the other department heads who, you know, listened to me and done exactly what I said every time. I checked in, said, hold the line, don't buy another pencil. They've done it, and I just want to say tonight, thank you to them. Thank you to the council for your support and giving me the opportunity to be the manager and the town of Southborough in great financial shape. So, that's my report.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Jen. All right, where are we at? Counselor comments? That's right.
School's about to start August 30th. Make sure you stop for buses, and I'm just putting the plug out because I know we haven't, since Miss Patty died, passed away, we haven't had a crossing guard by Central School. So if people are interested in, helping out the town, that'd be a huge, position to be filled that would help with our walkers.
First of all, I'd like to retract the little dance I did for the road improvements on Boyd's Corner Road, because the more difficult it is to drive on my road, the slower people go and they pay attention, so if you could postpone those improvements.
You might have to.
Okay, fantastic. Question, is the fire department doing the boot collection this year for Labor Day?
I don't know, I'll have to ask them. To do that.
Okay,
The association does, yeah.
the association,
Yeah.
okay. So if they do, everybody, please just be patient. It's gonna be more congestion with Labor Day weekend. In regards to, the traffic issues that we have, I had an afterthought after Mr. Mueller spoke. I brought it up that out on our backcountry roads, there's also, you know, traffic concerns. And I know, what's the sign we call Miss Betsy, or that's at the Miss Maggie?
Yeah, the speeding trail, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's tied up at the transfer station right now with promoting the stickers meeting. But maybe once we get the stickers under control at the transfer station, maybe we could place Miss Maggie, you know,
Yeah.
sporadically throughout town. But I know that she's tied up right now at the
We'll
transfer
get it out
station.
there. Yep.
Yeah, so that, until we can figure out the whole traffic conundrum of downtown, just might be something that could ease a little bit for the constituents. And one final crazy question, Red Barn is due to come down in September.
Sometime this fall when Jay has a spare minute to do it.
If liability waivers were signed, could somebody maybe reclaim the roofing materials before it gets torn down? It's a metal roof, it's in really decent shape, and it could be like a reuse, recycle, repurpose kind of thing,
Yeah, they probably have to show us liability stuff. but
liability.
you'd have to vote, it's disposing of town property, so the council would have to, they'd have to give me a proposal,
Okay,
and you'd have to approve it.
okay. Okay, that's it.
Don?
Yeah, a couple things. I'd like to thank you again for the reports. They are excellent and they highlight a lot of things that we didn't see and that the town doesn't see. Two that stand out are two, and I want to use the word new chiefs, but they're really not new. Between Chief Hamill and Chief Ruger, the direction that they've sent those two departments with the level of professionalism, training, embracing new technology, is absolutely amazing. And then the town is blessed to have those two gentlemen in those positions. And I just want to say thank you to them and the rest of their departments. They're just doing an incredible job. And thank you to you two for highlighting. That's all I got.
Just kind of piggyback a little bit off, what John said, you know, lantern was past week and, got a little soggy out there, but like you said, the fire department left and came back and left and came back, you know, like John said, Chief Hamill, and talking with him in planning for Lantern Fest was just wonderful to work with, very responsive and just amazing, you know, with all the work that he's already doing. And then on top of that, we talk about the transfer station team and how smiling and helpful they are. But one of the teams that I don't end up interacting with very much is the highway team. And I had the opportunity to go down there again in regards to Lantern Fest, grabbing just some road stakes to do some stuff. And I went down there and showed up, and parts of the crew were there, and all of them, you know, smiles, happy to greet whoever came through, you know, just. It wasn't walking into a garage, it was walking into a part of town where I was welcome, just like as if I had come and seen Barbara and Diane and you guys, so, yeah, just to put that to the town, to your leadership, you guys, your leadership, it really is going throughout the town, not just here in this building, it's everywhere, so very appreciative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Positivity this evening. The only thing that I have is not as exciting, but just a reminder for everybody that transfer station stickers are now required, or will be officially required on September 1st. And that's all I had.
Okay, I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. I never asked that.
Have anybody?
So-